is a man's world.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Single Man's Commission podcast. You're here with me, your favorite one of the two, Rigersi. This is Samuel, it does not matter. And this is the flag of our country, Albania. The double-headed black eagle with the red cover. Now, we are doing this as a special occasion.
Holidays are ahead.
Yes, we have the national holidays of the Independence Day and the Day of Freedom when the last Germans left. Now, these days are, even though are celebrated one after another in history, they happened way far apart. The National Independence Day happened in 1912, 28th of November 1912, and then the Day of freedom from Germans was in 29th of November 1945.
44.
44. Okay.
1944. There is debate for the day, 29th, because some historians speculate that this day was being propagated by the communism.
Yeah.
As their glory, the glorifying of their nationalist views, as well that they were responsible for beating the Germans, which, if we go by stretching in history, it's not true.
Yeah.
As much as was glorified.
Yeah, we
but
were
still
underarmed, we were undermanned, like we didn't have enough manpower or firepower to go toe-to-toe with the Germans. They were just treating it as a retreat base.
And as well, they were not interested to fight against Albanians. They were just they lost the war and they just want to go home. But their egos were too big that they got pissed by the Albanians at the time.
Yeah, also the fact that Albania also defended a lot of Jewish people.
Yeah,
like,
it was another factor.
Like we won the only Jewish, the number of Jewish people caught in Albania was a small one. I think.
They were Jewish. It was a Jewish community before the Second World War, but still the number was growing bigger because the Jews that were here before the war was telling to the other ones that were fleeing from their countries to come to Albania because it's safe here. And as history tells, we were very more than generous.
Yes,
we can say. But first of all, we go for the 28th of November.
Yes, 28th
because
of
it's
November.
more important.
Three dates of 28th of November that are
three
important
occasions
in three different years. The first one, 28th of November,
1443, the date that our nationalist hero, George Castriot Skanderbeu, fled from the army. It's an interesting story.
Army, like basically he was one of the Albanian princes, next in line to get the small kingdom. However, since the Ottomans had invaded and occupied us, we had to pay taxes, money, and also some of our children would need to go to them to be raised as warriors to fight for them. So Skanderbeg was taken from his home at the age of 9. He spent years there training, and he earned the name Skanderbeg, which was like a title, but it became a point of pride for us. That Ottoman title, ironically.
Interesting story. Iskender, they gave him the name because
he was a great strategist, like the great
Alexander the Great. They thought he was from his lineage, lineage, yeah. And it's interesting because the part that it's in some books that Skanderbeg made a false document. In Turkish you have ferman.
Yes.
It's a document that it's very worthy and very valuable because it needs the
It
seal
came
of the
from-
Sultan.
Yes, it came from the Sultan that he was allowed to stay in his castle.
Yeah, and also it was interesting because as well he was allowed to govern when the guy that was governing before him would leave, he would be the next in line.
Yes.
They let him stay in the castle. His big brother was waiting outside of the castle for his signal. And by night they just slaughtered all the Ottomans at the castle.
Yes.
Or the Ottomans that in the main castle,
Yes.
on the main rooms. And in the morning he put the Albanian flag right here. And the history is that is the day of the liberation of Croatia, or the liberation of his small kingdom.
Yes.
It's small kingdom which was ruled by the prince.
Yes.
Principate.
Yes. Principal. So
The first date.
that's the first date. The second one is when the father.
No, it's the grandfather of Ismail Cemali, which as well was called Ismail Cemali, senior.
Yeah, Ismail Kemal Senior.
It happened I think in 1819. I'll put the right date if I'm not mistaken. The date, it was the time that the war for the independence of Greece.
Yes.
But at that time, Greece had a big community that were named Arvanites.
Yes.
And at the time it was a war,
Arvanites.
Arvanitas, yes, and they had a war with Turkey. They wanted the independence, and at that war also was included Ali Paș de Belena
Yes.
at the time, and as well the community of Sulje. In Albania we call them Suljot. It was a big city, county, call it whatever you want, and they were helping Ali Pasha and also the Arvanites to win their independence against the Ottoman Empire. But as we know, it failed at the time, but it was successful 1 year later. It's not called the 2nd November, but in history it's the 28th of November.
Yes.
And the fun fact is that at the time the Arvanites were just wanting their own independence of their own county, but we know by history that there are treacheries,
Yes.
betrayals, and it happened
The
that they
worst
became
thing to another Albanian is another Albanian.
the part of Greece, of
Yes.
modern Greece today. That is the second date, which history will decide if it's successful or not. And the third date we have 1912,
Yes.
which is the independence of Albania.
Yes, as the Ottoman Empire was crumbling and losing its power and its grip on the Balkan soil all over the place, Albania declared its independence. Now, fun fact: the original plan by the two neighboring countries, Serbia and Greece, was to basically cut Albania in half, and the northern half would go to Serbia and the lower half would go to Greece.
The two parts were called Načrtania and Megali Idea. They made a secret allowance at the time, and the part that they would separate, it would be the border would be the Shkumbin River, Shkumbin River, and the half in Serbia, the upper half in Serbia, the lower half in Greece. It didn't happen because, as we know, the main figure of 28th of November in 1912 was Ismail Cemali. We'll put a picture of him for people that don't know him.
Yes.
Outside of Albania, of course.
He's also going to put that picture to cover up my yawn.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. And he was the main figure, but we need to understand that that were more figures that contributed, but he was the main protagonist.
Yes.
He was a senator at the Turkish parliament. at the time.
Okay.
In Albania called deputy or
Yes.
senator at the time there. And as well his close friend Hasan Pristina was as well a senator in the Turkish parliament, which tells that Albanians that were residents in Turkey at the time on the Ottoman Empire, they
Were
made
educated.
themselves, they educated themselves and they were part of a too much importance
Yes.
role at the time. We as well have another figure which was called, two main figures were Bayram Sure and Isa Boletini. They were not senators, they were above senators, they were the personal bodyguards of the Sultan, which was very important duty for them. Basically they had, some documents say they had pistols everywhere. Even if you cover them naked, if you strip them naked, sorry, you will find pistols in some place, even a dirty place.
Yes, I think it was Isa Boletini, if I'm not mistaken, that went to the meeting that happened to divide the countries into their own
Of the
territories.
Congress of London.
Yes.
1 year later.
Yes, and they first asked for his gun.
Yeah.
And when the meeting ended, one of them said, we can even disarm Albanians, and he pulled out a second gun and said, no, you
Yeah.
can't. And that's big energy.
Yeah, it's big
Rest in
energy.
peace.
Another factor is he's from the Mirdita district,
Yes.
which it tells a lot because they were very stubborn. All the history they didn't even pay. They weren't occupied by the Ottoman Empire. They just paid a bigger fee at
Yes,
the time.
like
As Himara as
as
well.
history has been depicted throughout the Albanian history and folklore, the northern half of Albania were the people that were more forced, let's say not forced, but like they were more upfront about the way that they did things. They used force a lot more, while the lower
The south.
the south of Albania were more diplomatic in the way that they
Yeah.
handled things, and the middle of Albania were always just chilling.
Yeah, chilling, drinking something on their yard.
Yeah, drinking raki.
Especially in Tirana.
Yes, drinking raki
yeah.
and some
Yeah.
tomatoes with
Yeah,
it.
the old Tirana people or Tirana people that basically
He's a Tyrannos.
basically the old Tirana people are in the red book. They are going to extinct soon.
Good,
Why?
because I don't fucking like it.
Okay, you proved you're an Albanian because you hate another Albanian.
Yes.
Okay, besides the stupid
Yes,
things.
jokes.
Interesting fact about the Ismail Cemali government. Unfortunately for him, he made a big effort to gather all important political figures that all of them were outside of Albania, doing their own business. Some politicians, writers, important as well in bigger offices in other countries. The problem was that they were aware that was the time to liberate the country because we were the last one again, or the first time. Besides communism, we were the last to overthrow communism. We were the last to overthrow the Turkish Empire.
Yes, we were the last one to overthrow communism in Europe, because there is still communist countries in the world.
Yeah,
Mostly in the Eastern Hemisphere.
In Balkans we were the last, and in Europe, bigger picture, the last. The part was that the bigger powers, as we call them, by history, they didn't agree to let us be independent, which 1913 later showed us. Spoiler alert, 13 is a very unlucky number for Albanians, because in 1913 we were almost fucked.
Yes.
Nobody believed Ismail Cemali, nobody considered him the prime minister of Albania.
Yeah.
Another fun fact is that his government was he just governed, I think, half of Albania. Like, his government started at Leja and ended in Vlora.
Yes.
The Shkodra was occupied by the, I think, Serbians at the time. Also, the Greek influence was very big on Saranda, in Girocastra. Mostly the cities that are close to border with Greece. It was a big problem because the Congress of London, it lasted 6 months. It lasted 6 months, and the bad part is Ismail Cemali wasn't aware of the Congress being held because he wasn't invited. Because the problem is that it was another political figure very known in Albania, which is called Asad Pash Toptane.
Oh, fuck.
The guy that was part of the Ismail Cemali government, but his power was, or his influence was massive, that he declared independent from the government that declared independence like 2 months.
What?
Yeah,
Fucking.
he made the principal or a small country or a small independent thing
Yeah.
that was called the Congress of Middle Albania or Central of Albania. He didn't agree with Ismail Cemali on a lot of things, as happens with Albanians.
We have this horrible crab in a bucket mentality.
Yeah.
That we disagree on everything and we have to fuck each other over even if that person is trying to do good by all of us.
At the time, as well as history will tell later, we were very territorial. Our territory, for example, it's my territory, not government, it's mine.
Yeah.
That was a mentality. And I have this influence, I can decide, for example, I have six ministers on your government. That was Asad Pash Toptane's wish at the time.
Yes.
Ismail Cemali had a different approach, a more intellectual one.
Yeah.
And another problem is that Asad Pasha was invited, he was not.
Of course, because Asad Pasha was like a vain, ignorant man that was lusting
His power.
over power, and he only cared about his power.
Yeah.
So he was easier to manipulate and to do with as wished by other powers.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ismail Cemali was trying to govern over all of us and to look after his entire country.
There is some dirt on the guy, Ismail Cemali.
Yeah.
Some people, there are two parts, as we know. We
Albanians
Albanians we go to two extremes. He was a very good guy, he thought a lot, he was a patriot.
Yeah.
And other people said they put a lot of dirt on the guy because they think he sold us. That's what they thought. He just pretended to have conflict with Asad Pasha to being a divergence. Because in reality he sold the...
Okay, and
But history is... Yeah.
Because like, you can't say these are the historical facts, okay? But I heard from my grandmother, who heard from her grandmother, who heard from her grandmother that these are the facts. Because like, you have historical documented facts and then you have the words of some random person.
Yeah, the thing is that he gave up too easily. It was one argument on his regime, on his government. He gave up too easily. One other fact is that why did too much people betray him?
Okay, because Albanians were divided.
Yeah.
Like, okay, remember this. Albania before communism came was at the illiteracy rate, like we were illiterate at 95% of our country. So ignorance everywhere. The people that are ignorant are very easy to control. Okay? So even if somebody is trying to do good, you can just say a couple of words here and there to push that person's button and turn them against the person that is trying to do good by them. This is how things work. This is how things have always worked. The ignorant part of a society are always useful fools to different regimes and powers at play.
And also,
So, I'm sorry, let me
sorry,
finish this.
let's go.
So it's not hard to see that the people that betrayed him were just people that were put in power in the first place by the Ottoman Empire, right? So a lot of that influence was because they kissed the ass of the Ottoman Empire.
You can see it for yourself on a visual thing that basically still shit happens as well today.
Yes.
Us being very obedient to the guys here. We'll put also
We are
big picture.
basically a doormat for the higher power.
A shout out to Andre for
To our friend in Bishop.
yeah.
So it's not hard to understand or even call it a stretch that some people that were more influential than Ismail Jamali threatened him with his life or something like that and drove him out of Albania.
They draw him out of Albania and as well they demanded him to come back. As we know, in 1914, the Congress of London ended, finally after 6 months.
Yes.
And they were, the bigger powers had different versions to declare Albania.
Yeah.
For example, the parts of France
Yeah.
were very pro-Greece and pro-Serbia
Yes.
to make Albania a small different country, if you see the maps.
Yeah.
Russia as well, we know. Powers like Italy, for example, they didn't care too much what happens. We had the Austro-Hungary, they were together once upon a time.
Yeah.
The map was more bigger than it is right now.
Yeah.
The map that we have right now, it's an agreement between France, Germany, I think, and Russia. It was an agreeableness that Albania has as much territory.
Yeah.
We lost Kosovo.
Yes.
We lost some part of the on the border of Greece, like Chameria.
Yeah.
We lost a lot of cities in Montenegro,
Yeah. Montenegro, we lost.
in Macedonia as well.
About half of Macedonia is inhabited by Albanians. Like 30% of the population there are
Yeah.
Albanians.
Yeah, and now they are majority in Macedonia, in North Macedonia. Sorry.
We are a majority.
Yeah, in parliament. Now the Albanian language is
No, I
second
mean,
language.
I mean, as a people.
Majority in numbers were growing because people are coming back. And we're considered right now as a fact in North Macedonia.
Yes,
And we have, thank God that now we have peace. There are no more incidents
Yeah.
with the Macedonians. We accepted them, they accepted us, we live peacefully. This is a good...
But I don't want peace. I want problems always.
Besides that, don't listen to that.
Okay.
It's good that...
No, it's good we have peace. Right?
Yeah, it's good. Also in Montenegro, the blood is now cold with Montenegros and with the other people, because now we have a president with an Albanian president in Montenegro.
So everything has cooled down. Even with the Greeks, I don't think...
The Greeks just problem a little bit for the... the law of war is still active till 2035. I'll put it right here, the correct year. It's a 100 the law of war, which was signed, I think, before the World War II. Before that, something like that.
That we can run the once anytime.
Maybe something like that. I
We
need
can
to
go to war at any time.
I put a more detailed article in the description below, so people can watch it for themselves. Because I think it's stupid that it's not considered. Because our prime minister has a good relationship with
Yeah.
with the three prime ministers that Greece had. We have only one. They changed three. 'Cause
I mean, let's not go there.
we won't go there. But we have good relations right now, or we are considered a big factor now in Balkans, because we have a good relationship with Europe, with America. But as well, we have a big problem. We are a bridge. That's a problem.
Yeah.
We are a bridge because in
We are
history,
the Turkey.
yeah, we are a bridge that we connect Asia with Europe.
The Balkans has always served as a bridge to
Yeah.
the central and the western parts of Europe, to the Middle East,
Yeah.
or the northern parts of Europe to, of course, the Middle East, but also as a way to ship things from Albania to
Yeah.
to Egypt, for example.
Yeah,
Or
it's
from Greece to Egypt, and Albania was in between.
it was a big fight always in history for cities like Durrës or Durrahum
Yeah.
at the time, Flora or Aulona, and the ancient Saranda on Hezem, because they had ports at the
Yes.
time, and it was always was a war for them, because we were the only bridge to go faster by sea at the time.
Yeah.
That is why Skanderbeg is well known and well respected in Europe,
Yes.
in modern Europe right now, because he gave 25 years to bigger powers in Europe to
How it will
be ready to fight the Ottoman Empire later.
Yes, and immediately after his death, it all went to shit.
It all
The sad
went-
story of Albania.
Yeah, it all went to shit. It went a little bit to shit before 2 years before he died, because they abandoned us,
Yeah.
the European powers. Still, we are used by we get used
A lot.
a lot of times.
We are like the street hookers.
Yeah, or the toxic relationship.
Yeah, we have a
Friends.
very toxic relationship with the rest of the world.
Yeah, and we say that everybody loves us.
I wish that was true.
Yeah, everybody loves us. So USA loves us, Europe loves us. In reality, we don't love ourselves.
Yeah. The greatest danger to an Albanian is another Albanian.
And the sad story for Ismail Cemali, I don't want to hear the dirt about the guy, because he let his good life behind in Turkey to made us independent,
Yes.
to finally have some dignity in other places. He got betrayed, some of his friends were killed, some other people were assassinated, and as well as Sad Pasha had his tragic fate as well. And the story goes on with another figures till the communism. We changed a lot of temporary governments. And we go to 1944. The end of 1944, we go in the loss. The loss was very evident of the Nazis. They lost the war, basically, because Hitler killed himself. They were losing in the West Front with USA and England.
Yes.
They also made a big mistake fighting Russians,
Yes.
which they didn't have a problem with at the beginning. Hitler thought different. And by the end of 1944, they were just going back to Germany. They were surrendering, and we learned in schools that we fought the Germans. Right now we have a big debate. Right now, because the majority says that the communist army
Lied about
mixed with the nationalist front, they fought the Germans.
I mean, from what my father has told me, as someone who studied it
In military school.
in military school ever since the age of 14,
Yeah.
and also has done some courses, military courses in Germany.
Yeah.
Germans had it in their documents that the last German left at 29th of November
Yeah.
and not 28th.
Yeah, the debate is a little bit more complex than a simple date. We have the propaganda that it's the
Fine, but like, why include the date then? If you want to have a debate about how fucked up and over exaggerated and over glamorized the communist propaganda is, then do that. You don't have to include the date.
No, the date is not an issue because
Yeah, but like, this is my problem. Again, I understand the date is not the complete issue. My problem with Albanians in general is instead of focusing on a single issue, when they don't know what to say, they grasp at straws, at insignificant things that won't matter as much. Because it's not like, okay, let's say for some reason we have the wrong date. Okay, it's not 29th, it's 28th.
nothing changes.
Because it's
Nothing.
not by a month or a year, like a substantial amount of time.
Yeah, it's just a day,
Like,
24 hours.
It's 24 hours, and I'm pretty sure it's a difference of minutes. Like
Yeah, the difference were in minutes because they left by night, as documents suggest that they left by night. Even 1 hour difference is not that kind of issue.
It just does not matter. But this is what we always do. We try to grasp at straws, and we are more focused on proving the other person wrong and ourselves right than we are concerned with finding out the truth and doing what's best.
Yeah, and we are blind to the truth as well, a big problem.
Yes.
Because we all know that, for example, the communism made us a very poor country at the end of the regime.
Like communism never really advanced us, or at the very least,
Yeah.
not our internal regime. Like most of it was money
Yeah,
that first of all was stolen
yeah,
from the people that lived here and had
Yeah.
money,
yeah.
and second was trade money from countries like Yugoslavia. I think we had a good relationship with
We
Yugoslavia.
always had a good relationship in a sense of importing and exporting with Yugoslavia.
Yes.
The political relations were not very good one time. They got good again and got bad again. Cause
Yes. Then we had close relationships with
China.
First, we had
With
close
the
relationships
Soviet Union.
with the Soviet Union. That lasted about until Stalin died.
Yeah.
Yes, because when they were having one of the annual meetings in Warsaw about
Yeah.
what happened, or then dictator Enver Hoxha, who was an overzealous fan of Stalin and
Yeah.
his Stalinist ideas, was trying to act up as a big dog there, talking about how
It
we
was-
should follow.
I think there is Moscow, not Warsaw. I think it's in Moscow.
Okay, in
'Cause-
Moscow.
And the propaganda, and in reality, the people that attended the meeting and the witnesses, because in every meeting you had witnesses,
Yes.
forced to lie or not, another issue, but they said that Khrushchev at the time came in power with his friends that were part of the Stalin government. They tried a different approach to communism, a more liberal one,
Yes.
just like Yugoslavia always had with Tito in power.
Yes, but like Enver was like a horrible dictator.
Yeah.
And he wanted things to go the same way, and when he was put in his place and told to shut the fuck up, because
Yeah.
no one considers European because they're a nothing country
Yeah, 'cause they
compared to the
left.
Soviet Union.
Yeah, they left.
We left that, and then we started a relationship with China, which is even more stupid because China is even
It's-
further away.
We don't have any business with China at the time because they are east, we are west. West
Like,
Balkan.
they are halfway across the world. Like
Yeah.
China is as away from us as America is.
Yeah. Still, to go to China today you need 12 hours. it's still far away.
Yes, it's still far away. And imagine the strain it put on our import-export. Not only that, and the fact that then the relationship with China also went bad. And then we, I think from 85...
78. 78 we had better relations with China. We repaired the relations with Yugoslavia.
Yes.
The people weren't told directly that we have good relations with Yugoslavia, but they weren't as same as were before, because at the time Enver Hoxha was declining on his health.
And
Thank God.
about from 80 to 90, like the things in Albania just went to shit.
Yeah, we were isolated from the world. And fun fact, I think I've told you once, at the end of the communism regime,
yes,
we were the poorest
country
in the world. The only ones that were poorer than us were Angola and Somalia. And also the other countries were far more better than us in Balkans.
Yes, in Balkans.
Even Kosovo at the time was
doing
better than us. All of the Tito regime, they were attempts to make genocide legal, but the Albanians in Kosovo, they always had a little bit more freedom than the Albanians in Albania. They were free to travel anywhere they wanted.
Yeah.
That's a big factor.
Because the Yugoslavia back then is like what China is today, not in terms of scale and power, but like in terms of the relation.
Yeah, not totalitarian at all, but a more liberal, just kind of what Khrushchev wanted to have.
Yes.
At the time.
However, the problem with things like communism, state-owned,
everything,
like state-owned means of production and things like that. It creates this very massive problem of bureaucracy, and you need more governmental departments to
permission for everything.
Permissions, but also police people on the way they're behaving.
Yeah.
And it creates this bad situation because they will overinflate success in order to look good, because we are supposed to sell this idea that we're doing better than we are.
Yeah.
Like we can't tell it how it is, because if you start talking about how bad something is in communism, then the government falls apart, because you don't really have much faith in government that enforces its totalitarian views on you.
What did they say? We will eat grass and will not surrender to anyone.
Yes.
And in reality, nobody cared about Albania. My grandpa told me one time that we were discussing that always the government stimulated alarms, false alarms, that be prepared because America, England, China later, Yugoslavia will bomb us and we needed to enter into bunkers. In reality, you had a wooden weapon, a wooden gun, and they had nuclear weapons.
Yes, and
what the fuck?
That's what the problem is, because
and people believed it.
If there was an actual invasion from someone like America, we'll be fucked.
Even Italy, the smallest country.
A smaller country will be fucked, or even Greece.
Yeah.
Because we didn't trade with anyone, especially in the later years. Like, we didn't have TV with colors until
70s. Till 80s.
Till the late 80s.
Till the late 80s, yeah, they were allowed, but it was very rarely that people have TV with colorful.
I'm talking about mass, I'm not talking about a small subsection of the population.
After Enver Hoxha died, it became more frequent and common. But before that, you had one telephone for building.
Yes.
Only one guy, which most of the times lived on the upper floors, had the phone, and everyone on the building would go to him to talk, and mostly it was a fishing for traitors.
The great things of communism.
Yeah, one telephone, one bottle of milk for a week, and you needed to wait in line from 4 in the morning to 6
And
or
that's why,
7.
my friends, as Winston Churchill said, capitalism is the worst system ever, except for all the others.
And would you tell to our American or USA viewers that want to experience communism? Our dear friend Jordan Peterson said to them that if you want to experience communism, just look what happened to Albania.
Oh.
They want to experience communism.
No,
Give them an advice.
No, go to North
Korea.
Korea, for example,
Or Cuba,
or Cuba, or China,
Venezuela.
Venezuela. Like I think Malaysia also has communism.
Malaysia, China.
North Korea. Like these are countries.
No, but it's not common anymore. It's not the same. No, it's not the same communism as it was 50 years ago.
I mean, North Korea.
No, North Korea is another.
Go there.
No, in China. In
Oh,
China,
in
it's
China.
different. In Venezuela, it's different.
Yeah. Like I mean, with
In general, it's the same shit,
because,
but
when
different.
old leaders die, the new leaders have to do better than the previous ones. So
Yeah.
they have to give some leeway to the citizens because communism is something that tries to enforce equality of outcomes, okay, and not have any disparaging between people. Also discourages people's want to do better for things, and that's why things don't get improved. Also, there's a lot of corruption.
Yeah.
There is a lot of bureaucracy that has to be dealt with.
And
There's a lot of invitation for people that are psychopaths, sadists, and shit like that, and Machiavellian people to get power, because the way you get power in communism is not meritocracy, it's how good you are to the governing body. How
And
much
how much-
ass can you kiss?
and-
How little morals you have in order to enforce it.
And who do you know?
Yes, and who you know. No, the who you know part also exists in capitalism. However, in capitalism, at the very least, you can shit talk people. Like, for example, today you can talk shit about anybody.
Yeah, or at least you have a little bit of meritocracy
Yes.
in a capitalist society. In Albania, we are a little bit stuck because we don't have a proper democracy. A proper democracy. Democracy doesn't exist, but still.
Democracy exists. But like,
my friend Plato has a different opinion, but
it does not
Okay.
work.
yeah, he said it exists, but it doesn't work.
Yes.
It's another issue
Because
for
it's
another
basically
time.
a rule of mob. Like,
Yeah.
and just to see what the fault of democracy is, like, imagine there is an island, there is 9 men and 1 woman, and they, by rule of mob, by democracy, the entire 9 men vote that they will rape this woman, for
Yeah.
example.
And it will happen.
It will happen because democracy.
Yeah.
Like that is the easiest example.
Yeah.
But like with rule of mob, you don't know if the population really has the mental capacity to understand that someone is bullshitting them or not. But here's the problem. You can't just put the elites there, because when you make an elitist sort of democracy, let's say, by representatives and things like that, they can be bought and manipulated easier because there is less people to buy and manipulate, and they will have positions of power, and you will eventually end up with some sort of authoritarian regime. So, and when you push bullshit too far, of course, people in mass are going to turn against you. Case in point, America.
Yeah.
The left, like me and some call ourselves conservatives, but we are more liberal than people think. We
In
are
Albania?
actually,
In Albania or in general?
in general, like,
Yeah.
dude, neither of us cares about abortion. Like, if women want to get an abortion, go get them. We think it gets overused sometimes.
Yeah, in Albania, especially, we can say that people always find a way, even if it's illegal. History tells us that Albania,
Everywhere.
everywhere, especially the Albanians risk it a lot.
we're not firmly against it. Like, there's no need for abortion because we both thought, like, if we accidentally get the girl pregnant at the age that we are now, we are going to go for an abortion.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're not firmly against it. It's a complicated issue and don't just go her body, her choice like some blue-haired fucking idiots. But like, we understand that sometimes there is a need for something like abortion. There is also we don't really care what you do with your ass.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be gay, be gay. If you want to be straight, be straight.
But
If you want
love
to be
is
trans, be
love.
trans.
Why? Love is love.
Yeah, love is love, but I don't care like what you do. So neither of us.
We need to buy some mugs with the rainbow that say love is love, but we open some a small one. We open the space there and we say love is love, but we need to put it right there. Love is love, but nobody cares.
And that's the idea. Like,
That's
you're
the
free
idea.
to do
Whatever
whatever
you
you
want.
want with your life. But I don't have to support necessarily your lifestyle. I don't have. I should not be able to stop you from doing what you're doing as long as you're not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
But also, I'm also allowed to not give a fuck. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't have to be an ally
To be indifferent
because
if you want to.
I'm allowed to be indifferent.
And another
But I'm
issue-
sorry, indifference is violence, silence
Oh
is
my.
violence, but also words are violence. So what isn't violence?
Talking to you or you talking to me, it's violence.
Yes.
And I'm being offended.
Listen, I have this idea that every party is the party that defends free speech as long as it's free speech that they like.
Okay, yeah,
Free
everyone.
speech for me, but not for thee.
Yeah, and in Albania we have a saying that your freedom or my freedom ends when I.
Oh, it's not just an Albanian thing.
No, it's not. I've always heard it by Albanian people that my freedom ends when your freedom begins. And another thing, I remembered I had a friend that in his work it was the Women's Day, which mostly it's a communism kind of forced holiday.
It's. I think no.
No, but it was. I think it's invented by communism.
No, it's worldwide.
That they have a Mother's Day, I think, which includes.
No,
women
they
or-
have 2 different days.
Yeah,
they have
but-
Mother's Day and they have Women's Day.
I don't remember when I've read that it was invented by a socialist party, the Women's Day, and it was a protesting
Yes.
day. I need to check again the source. And in Albania, you had in some workplaces that you should have a shirt that said, not demanded, but some women were printing a shirt like "The future is women."
Yeah.
And the guy there, I had in my university, he had a colleague, and she wore the shirt when she was entering in the office. And she said, "You're wearing that?" "Yeah." "You're wearing that?" "Yeah." "Okay, turn back, first left, second right, go home, change, you can come back."
Why?
Because I don't care that the future is women, I care that you come to a job wearing properly. Because I don't fucking care where the future is women or man, I care about doing your job, and I don't want propaganda. And he was right on his choice. He was a supervisor, he was not he was not the boss there. But still, he is right on his own sense.
No, you have the right as a company to decline
certain propaganda.
certain propaganda is going around because it just opens the door for toxic discussions between both men and
Yeah.
women.
He did the right thing,
Like,
in my opinion.
Everyone can be toxic, okay? It doesn't matter your gender, your sexual orientation,
Your race, nothing.
your political views. Everyone can be toxic, okay? So how about instead of starting to check other people, first check yourself
Yeah.
and try to make sure that you're not the biggest asshole in the room before you start judging others about being assholes, okay? I come to slap someone and then play the victim when he punches him. Like, I slap him first. Calm the fuck down.
It will made a lot of views. But
I hate you. I hate you with all my being. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why it doesn't matter.
I have good ideas.
No, you don't.
Okay. And another thing that communism did, they put a star here on this beautiful flag. That
The Soviet
like,
star.
Yeah, but making a stupid sign to this beautiful flag, it's a crime. Yeah, if it would be the goat of Skanderbeg,
Yeah.
yeah, because it was put on the Albanian flag at the time. But it was as a sign to tell other countries that we belong to, our leader is him. But putting a Soviet star for what? It's not even Albanian. This flag is good as it
Because
is.
propaganda. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we just went a little bit too much.
Yeah, the
This.
last thing to conclude. Do you think that Albania today is going back to the roots, or we are still divided as 100 years of? Did like 112
Okay.
years did something, change something, or
Uh,
we are still divided as at the time? Or do we feel ourselves?
We are still divided.
We are still
But
divided.
while back there it was more like tribal
Yeah.
division.
Or territorial.
Yes. Now we're more like individualism pushed to the extremes. Like people don't really care about each other anymore.
Yeah, we're becoming more and more like the issues of the modern
West.
the modern West. But the problem is that shit happens, and phenomena that happen in the world. We as well would experience this kind of issues, but here we experience it a lot, like a lot more
Well,
in extremes.
Well, because Albanians were like so far beyond the world,
Yeah.
behind the world.
Yeah.
When the borders opened here in Albania,
Yeah.
and we tried to adapt from the West, we tried to look at the best example of the West, which at the time
USA.
in the 90s was the USA. Now the problem is that with just like with everything, the most attention-drawing things is the commercial things that go around in USA, the commercialism, the trends, and we adapted them here in Albania, but we didn't really understand the trends that we were adapting. So not only did we adapt the easiest to replicate trends, which are usually the bad ones and the bad parts of commercialism and capitalism and things like that, we also didn't make them even worse.
Yeah. And but I think the time for Albania, it is a time for Albania to be more mindful that we have an advantage today, in a sense that we don't have conflicts right now active.
Yes.
Beside the incident that happens all the time in the northern border of Kosovo,
Yeah.
besides that, which are mostly false alarms,
Yeah.
and it's shit happening, one idiot here, one idiot there.
Yeah.
It's not in a big scale. We have good relation with our neighbors, or a normal relation with our neighbors. Albanians in Montenegro, in the Kosovo is independent right now, so it's no problem anymore for them. They can develop and live peacefully.
Yes.
As well, Macedonia right now and has become aware, as we said earlier, about the Albanian not anymore minority, but
What if we Albania and Kosovo got together as a country, call it the United States of Albania?
wow, that is a good idea. And Macedonia is respecting Albanians, no more conflicts. Greece right now, it's a little bit of issue acknowledging Albanian old heritage in some parts there, but it's a thing that
It's a contingency issue.
it's a contingency issue, and I don't think it will be solved. But with Turkey, we have a good.
Ironically, we watch so much
Turkish soap
soap operas. Like if Skanderbeg was alive today, he would be thinking of
Motherfucker, what have I done? 25 years.
So it's like more of a soft culture invasion.
Yeah, and it's an invasion. We have good relationship with Turkey. Again, we kiss ass everywhere if it's possible.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, some people have said that Albanians will be more and more advantageous in the future because we have now a American base here, so everything that happens will happen
Yes.
with consequences as well. Albanians in the world has, like, from 90s we are more mixed with the countries in a sense that today
We
Albanian
have better relationships.
no the Albanians that are immigrants from the 90s, they have adapted the life of the country in Italy, Switzerland,
So
everywhere.
a mixture of cultures.
A mixture of cultures, and still they are aware of their old heritage, but they have adapted with the locals there and good relationship as well.
Yes.
In Switzerland, I think there are 35 or 40% of population is Albanian from Kosovo.
It's not surprising.
It's not surprising.
Like the three places that Albanians will always flock to here in Europe. No, not three. It's like five. Five
Yeah,
places.
Five places.
Italy, Greece,
Greece,
Germany,
a lot. Yeah, Germany,
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
England.
England, not possible anymore. It's not possible anymore because they are forcing laws. Right now, mostly the tendency is going to Germany.
Yeah.
It's very required, or USA.
USA, like
Even Spain, it's a possibility.
I mean, everybody can find a place everywhere.
Yeah, Albanians have gone like everywhere. You have a lot of Albanians in Norway, in Iceland. My father
In Iceland and Sweden.
in Sweden. Yeah, but Iceland is more far away. You can find Albanians in Ukraine, for fuck's sake. Like
I mean-
5 generation of or more old.
Yes, like because Ukraine was part of
Yeah.
the Soviet Union.
Yeah. As well, you can find in Australia.
Okay.
And I think in Portugal, I'm curious. I haven't found Albanians there, but
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe.
So we finish
We finish here.
with more questions and answers again.
Yes, because you can't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I don't need to
This is
sleep. I
our
think
flag.
that's
It's beautiful.
yeah, it's very beautiful.
We love our country, and that's why we criticize it. And we love our people, and that's why we criticize them, because we want our country and our people to thrive. Now that being said, enjoy the holidays of Albania. Zuar Vitorne Pavarsis.
We want to thank you again, our friend, not only Andre, but thank thank
Ratko.
Ratko for his hospitality.
Hospitality and allowing us to use this
To
studio.
allow, soon we will have a podcast with one of our friends that we recorded here with our friend Genia, which will come like 1 week after this episode. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. You enjoyed, stay tuned for the next episode. As well, please, if you can donate to us, donate or sponsor us.
Yes.
And as
Also-
well, don't forget,
Yes, don't forget to like,
Share,
share, comment, subscribe, etc. Do all the good shit. See you guys.
and see you.
This is a man's world.